Charitable Advisors. At UI Charitable Advisors, we are a philanthropic advisory firm. What that means is that we help our individual donors, and a lot of the work we do is through financial professionals as well. So financial advisors, CPAs, trust and estate attorneys, really anyone working in the financial world with tax planning and helping their clients.
In the UK, I have seen that businesses, like if we donate something, we pay less tax. It is better to donate some of our money for a charitable cause and then get two things out there. One thing is supporting individuals as a great charity. Second thing is also reducing your cost benefit.
Part of that is tax planning with their wealth professional, but part of that is finding a charity or a middleman that can help facilitate that for them. Somebody that can accept whatever that asset is and then help get cash to the charity that they actually want to support. And that's one of the major obstacles we face.
People wanted to donate money. They don't think when they are donating, like the critical way to maintain their assets and gain value from there. I know that you wanted to donate, one thing. Second thing, I know that you have a mind to support other people. Third thing, you get benefited out there and you are the one, you will create the end-to-end process for the clients so they can relax.
We offer to maximize, number one, maximize the tax benefit that you get for your giving, and number two, maximize your impact.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining today's Innovative Circle podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Shah Siddiqui, CEO of Time Research and Innovation, GenZ Marketing Agency, and Chatbot AI. 𝐈𝐂𝐿𝐴 is an initiative to bring innovative ideas, transformative strategies, and forward-thinking insight from various industries, whether it is in technology, artificial intelligence, marketing, finance, lead generation and sales, business advisory and development, tax and accounting, or sustainability. We bring you insights from some of the brightest minds, C-level executives, and industry leaders who are shaping the future. In today's episodes, we are thrilled to welcome Hyrum Grenny, is the Director of Partnerships at UI Charitable Advisors. At UI Charitable Advisors, he supports financial advisors and clients by giving a strategy that align with long-term goals, with experience in philanthropy, impact consulting, and behavioral science. Hyrum helps individuals and organizations use tools like donor-advised funds and fiscal sponsorships to make a real difference. Previously, he had strategy development at University Impact and supported training innovation at Vital Smarts. He is passionate about purpose-driven finance and combines sharp insight with a warm relationship-first approach. With his innovative approach, he helps people to be more generous when donating. So today we will discuss from impact to investment, making giving smart with Hyrum Grenny. So to all our viewers, get ready for practical strategies, insightful discussion, and fresh ideas to grow you, succeed, and make an impact. Hello, Hyrum. Welcome to Innovative Circle podcast, and thank you for joining me today. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you very much. It is a pleasure. You know that at Innovative Circle podcast, we bring different ideas and different time to talk about. So you are the first guest that we're going to be talking about charitable work. So I think our viewers, they will love to hear your thoughts. How do you work and how you are making impact to change the society? So thank you very much for your time. As usual, with all of our episodes, we ask questions, set questionnaires to get to know your work and how you are impacting to the society. So we're going to be doing the same for you here today. So my first questions to you, could you please provide an overview of your business and share what inspired you to enter to this field?
Yeah, of course. So the name of our business is UI Charitable Advisors. At UI Charitable Advisors, we are a philanthropic advisory firm. What that means is that we help our individual donors, and a lot of the work we do is through financial professionals as well. So financial advisors, CPAs, trust and estate attorneys, really anyone working in the financial world with tax planning and helping their clients not only receive the tax benefits that they want, but also achieve their charitable goals. And so our goal is to make charitable giving really easy for all of these parties, whether it's the individual donor or the wealth professional involved. We try to make charitable giving easy. We saw the charitable giving world as a world with a lot of speed bumps and a lot of potholes, regardless of the charitable vehicle that you're using, whether it's a donor advised fund or a fiscal sponsorship or a different type of fund or family foundation, whatever it is. We saw a lot of speed bumps and obstacles put in the way that don't need to exist. And we tried to come into this world to innovate and offer as much flexibility and expertise in charitable giving as possible. So that's a little bit about us and what we do. We use a lot of different charitable vehicles to accomplish that goal. The primary one we use is donor advised funds. So I'll probably focus on that. That's becoming a more and more popular charitable giving vehicle. But we have a number of other vehicles that have spun off of the DAF to help further that goal of making charitable giving easy.
That's great to know, Hyrum, because in the UK and in the US, most donation are derived from big income, isn't it? So if you are earning a lot of money in the UK, I have seen that businesses, like if we donate something, we pay less tax. Yeah. So it is better to donate some of our money for a charitable cause and then get two things out there. One thing is supporting individuals as a great charity. Second thing is also reducing your cost benefits. So I think the work you are doing is great to attract new businesses, fresh bloods, and all other things. My next connecting question to you would be, could you discuss a major obstacle you have in the business and the key issues in your industry and how solving these issues making a difference to your clients and the collaborators?
Yeah, it's a great question. And to your point, you're right about the two benefits that can come from charitable giving. What we saw is that it was done in such a simple way that didn't meet everybody's needs. And so most people can go give cash to the charity down the street. That's good. They can get a tax benefit if it makes sense for them to itemize based off of that amount, and they can get some type of benefit from that, but they're just giving cash at the end of the day. And that's not actually the most efficient asset that somebody can give to charity. And so there's this entire world of, and that part of that is tax planning with their wealth professional, but part of that is finding a charity or a middleman that can help facilitate that for them. Somebody that can accept whatever that asset is and then help get cash to the charity that they actually want to support. So that's the void we fill in a lot of ways. And that's one of the major obstacles we faced, to your second question. Was most charities or most donor advised funds that are doing something similar to what we're doing are limited on the types of assets that they can take. So if you're a wealthy individual, or maybe not even that wealthy of an individual, but you have some type of asset that you'd like to use to do your charitable giving, whether that's a public stock or whether that's a portion of a real estate property that you own or a privately held business, whatever it is, there's an asset that probably has some capital gain on it that's going to make a lot of sense from a tax perspective to give, but we need to find some way to get this illiquid asset to this charity. And that's where we can help facilitate that. So we have a team of legal experts. We have in-house accounting and back office support that we need to be able to take this illiquid asset, accept a donation, and give a tax deduction for that donation at the fair market value of that asset, and then help turn that asset into cash so that the donor can then give that to their favorite charity. And so it's a fairly complicated process, but our whole goal was, how do we help facilitate whatever asset makes the most sense for the donor in whatever time of year makes the most sense for a donor? How do we quickly and cost effectively help that illiquid asset get liquidity and get to the charity that they want to support?
That was a great explanation, Hyrum. I think people normally, as you say, that people wanted to donate money. They don't think when they are donating, like the critical way to maintain their assets and gain value from there. So it's a great example that you mentioned that, yes, I know that you wanted to donate, one thing. Second thing, I know that you have a mind to support other people. Third thing, you get benefited out there and you are the one, you will create the end-to-end process for the clients so they can relax, isn't it?
Exactly. Yep. And that's really one of the biggest obstacles we've faced has been, what does that end-to-end process look like? There are charities that have tried to do this in the past, but it costs a lot of money for the client. It's not simple. It's not easy. And by the end, everyone's ripping their hair out because it was such a nightmare of an experience. And so the real obstacle was, how do we deal with the complexities of transferring the ownership of whatever this asset is, giving the tax deduction, us doing the back office accounting for this asset? It's fairly complex to take on a whole bunch of illiquid assets as a nonprofit and show that, hey, this actually is charitable. We're liquidating them for a charitable purpose and we're giving them to a charitable cause. So there's just a lot of complexity along the way, and building out the operational back office processes for something like that is not a simple undertaking.
I totally agree with you. So thank you very much for adding this value to the audience. And I think all the viewers, if you're watching this live webinar, feel free to share this with your colleagues, friends, and anyone that you would like. I think they will get a decent value after watching this 𝐈𝐂𝐿𝐴 podcast. So my next question to you, who are the clients you aim to help and what key benefits do you deliver to them?
Yeah, the simple answer to that is anybody that is doing some type of charitable giving. And so whether that's in large quantities or small quantities, obviously it's easier to plan with a larger quantity because you're going to be receiving a larger tax benefit, and it's more simple from a tax perspective. But even the smaller amounts, there are different strategies you can use with some of the tools we offer to maximize, number one, maximize the tax benefit that you get for your giving, and number two, maximize your impact. We one of our big priorities at UI Charitable is helping people give in an impactful way. We not only care about getting the money to a charity, but we're saying, how do we help you maximize that impact and the good that you're doing? And we have thesis around impact. We have a model that we've built out of how we measure impact to say, not only are we getting money and helping these charities produce outputs, which is giving them some type of solution. So in places that malaria is really prevalent, an output would be an example of giving people nets, malaria nets around their beds so they are protected from malaria. That's a really common example of an output. So we don't actually know if we're correcting that problem, but we do know we're distributing nets. And so we're trying to shift the world of charitable giving away from looking at these outputs of saying, hey, we're doing a lot of good because we're giving out these nets. That's the first step. The outputs matter, but that's not actually the impact. The impact comes when we see a decrease in malaria, when we see that people experiencing the consequences are actually experiencing something better now. We're changing their lives for the better. And we're trying to help shift our clients' perspectives from we're distributing nets or we're giving people food or whatever it is. Sometimes food can be an outcome, but moving away from these outputs focused philanthropy to outcome focused philanthropy.
That's a great example, Hyrum, because when we work with clients, sometimes some people, they don't think about the outcome. They think that, okay, they are doing a great job and that job will provide outcome, but they don't worry about what outcome actually they will get. So when I started working with people in business, what I did, the way you that mentioned that, okay, you will get this outcome and this is my responsibility to get that outcome for you, because other people, they're not going to say that, okay, you will get this outcome, because they don't know what outcome they will get. So that's a great question. And so my next question to you, what makes your approach unique in helping clients achieving these outcomes?
Yeah, I love that question. That's where we drive a lot of our purpose and a lot of our excitement as an organization is based off of what we're trying to do different. And so I'll focus on donor advised funds. Donor advised funds are a charitable giving vehicle. It's basically a charitable savings account that you set up, put money into this account that's hosted by a nonprofit. So it's all owned underneath a nonprofit. And when somebody donates to their donor advised fund, you have your own personal, we call them DAFs for short. When you donate to your own personal donor advised fund, you get an immediate tax deduction, and then the funds can sit there and be invested and then given to your favorite charity over time. So you can fund this DAF, have it sit there for a while, and then give to charity over the next 5-10 years, all out of this single account. And our goal with these donor advised funds was to offer as much flexibility as possible. We saw in the world of charitable giving, the world of donor advised funds, that there were a lot of limitations, a lot of guardrails set on these DAFs, that people weren't allowed to give in certain places. They weren't allowed to give to certain types of organizations, and they were very limited in the giving. Our goal was, we want to make charitable giving easy. So if you set up this donor advised fund and you fund it, we want to help you give to whatever organization you're passionate about, whether that's inside your country, internationally, whether that's a nonprofit organization or a for-profit organization. And even we've allowed for impact investing, which was part of kind of the theme that you shared for this conversation was, hey, what if you not only could just give money away, but you could invest money in something impactful? That's the idea of impact investing, is saying not only are you giving to a cause, but you're potentially going to invest in the cause so you can make a return and then give more to the cause after. So I see that as scalable impact. It's saying, let's, rather than just giving a grant, giving the money away, hopefully it does some good and we'll check and try and verify that it does good, but that money's gone because you already gave it. Let's make an investment, try and make a return on that investment, and then continue doing that. And so it's just like investing in the public markets, but it's investing in private, impactful companies.
That's a great example. And I think the way you deal with your company previously and the way you're going to be doing in the future, I think if you can make this kind of impactful decision making for your clients, that will transform so many lives full of impact. So thank you very much for adding this value and delivering your talk today with me. And I hope our viewers, they will learn some new tactics and things to take away from this Innovative Circle podcast. So my next question to you, I know that you do partnerships part of your business models, and from your partner perspectives, what benefits make you an ideal collaborator?
Yeah, I love that question too. We are completely centered around partnerships in our business. Our entire flywheel, if you will, if anyone's read Good to Great, that talks about the flywheel and how once you set the flywheel in motion, that momentum can keep going if you have a good, strong flywheel. We've built our flywheel fully around referrals. And so our whole concept is establishing these really loyal, successful partnerships with wealth professionals. So that's advisors, like investment advisors, CPAs, attorneys, different types of professionals helping clients do their estate planning and charitable giving. So establish these partnerships, show that we can successfully help their clients achieve their charitable goals, just like we're talking about, whether that's through a donor advised fund or another charitable vehicle, whatever it may be, prove that we can successfully help them do their charitable giving, give these wealth professionals a delightful experience, so then they bring us more of their clients. That's what our whole business is centered around, is these partnerships with these wealth professionals that are helping all kinds of clients, that funnel them to us so we can help create this impact in their lives and in the lives of the people involved in the causes they wish to support. And so partnerships are really our sole focus. How do we develop deep partnerships where we're talking about important things and helping them help their clients give to the causes that they're most passionate about, which at the end of the day, that's what we find people are most excited to talk about. They care about their financial well-being. They care about their investments in the stock market. And when it's tanking, they're worried and they call, and all of those things matter. But at the end of the day, what they really, really want to talk about is what they're passionate about. And typically what they're passionate about is what they're giving.
I totally agree with you, because when you have a patient and then you wanted to find a right partner they have right tools to implement your patient to execution. That's way you get it succeeded. Sometimes, and you know that there are tons of charitable organizations. So those charitable organizations, they are supporting someone, but they don't know the back story of that charitable company. So my next question would be to you, how do you determine that your charitable organization are the good fit for the company that you are supporting? Because in the US and in the UK, we have to look into a lot of different things, that the funds don't get diverted to the terrorist, the funds don't get diverted to do something ingenuine, and all those things. So how do you determine those things and assure your partners that you are on the right hands?
Yeah, so it's twofold. I love that question too. It's a twofold commitment there. We have a legal obligation when funds are donated into a donor advised fund or another charitable vehicle underneath our nonprofit. We have a legal obligation to make sure that we are giving funds to a real life charity that's doing real life impact. That's part of our legal obligation. So we're in trouble if we don't do that. That's number one. Number two is we have an internal ethical commitment to give to impactful organizations to help elevate impact and philanthropy for our clients. And so we do that, as I alluded to this earlier, but we have a very in-depth impact measurement model. And we actually do a lot of impact consulting for different nonprofit organizations as well. They come to us and say, hey, we are doing all of this work, but we want to know, are we actually impactful? Are we actually doing good the way that we hoped we would in the world? So we have an impact measurement model that we use that tracks. It's designed to plug in all of the outputs and your thesis statement of your intervention that you're trying to do in the world, of saying, here's what we're combating poverty in sub-Saharan Africa, or whatever it is, whatever the region is, whatever the mission is. Here's what our intervention is. And then we track this all the way along our model to say, is this actually creating the impact we set out to create? And we do that by looking at the outputs, checking what the outcomes of those outputs are, and then seeing if we can attribute the actual impact to those outputs. So we're saying, are the activities we're doing actually what's creating this impact? And what, at the end of the day, what we're trying to make a difference in are the actual consequences that these impacted people are. So what negative consequences are they experiencing as a result of the problem? and what positive consequences are they experiencing as a result of our solution. So first we gain a very, very in-depth understanding of the problem, and then we move to solutions.
That's a great example, Hyrum. And I think the viewers, you will understand the critical aspects of the work that Hyrum is doing with his organization. Like when you work with different type of charitable organization and different type of donors, you have to marry them together to make a long-lasting relation, and that is very difficult thing to do because you don't know on the other end how the fund is being used. So the way you describe, I think the viewers they will be assured and overcome their barriers to introduce more clients with you. So thank you very much for joining. Yeah,
if I could make one quick comment on that, that's part of our consulting service as well, is saying we know some clients know that they're passionate about a geography or they're passionate about a type of impact, but they're not sure what organization to give to. Just to your point, it's hard to marry the two perfectly for the client or the donor to know that this organization is actually doing what they're saying, or to even know that the organization exists. Sometimes, even though we have all of this masses of information coming at us at all times in this world today, it's still hard to sift through all that noise and find what we actually know that we care about and what we want to give to. So part of our consulting service is taking a client's passions and understanding them and saying, okay, we know that you want to fund preservation of the Amazon forest. And so our job then is to go in through our connections and our networks and different people we know in different places to go find the organizations that can be married to this donor, to say, here are organizations that are impactfully preserving the Amazon forest. We've not only found them, but we've done our due diligence to say they are actually impactful. So that's a lot of the consulting we do, is helping donor find opportunity.
Thank you, Hyrum. Thank you very much for joining today's The Innovator Circle podcast. To all the viewers, thank you for watching 𝐈𝐂𝐿𝐴, and I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui, and I have Hyrum, the directors of partnerships at the UI Charitable Advisors. For now, we are taking a brief break before diving into some fantastic insights. Stay tuned, and we will be right back.
You may know CEOs who consume high-value business content grow their companies 4 times faster, and 81% of business leaders say thought leadership content has directly influenced their buying decisions. So, wondering how to accelerate your success? 𝐈𝐂𝐿𝐴 isn't just a podcast, it's your gateway to fast-track business growth. What you'll gain with this program? We will bring exclusive insights to learn directly from top executives and industry leaders. Adopt technology and AI to understand the market and the buying preferences. Build data-driven strategies to foster sales tactics, content creation, and social selling to increase authority and persona. Accelerate transformative conversations to break boundaries, spark innovation, and lead with confidence. On-demand learning to gain expert insights anytime, anywhere, at your convenience. Build a powerful network. Connect with key decision makers to shape the future of business.
So, what are you waiting for? If you are ready to lead your industry with clarity and confidence, 𝐈𝐂𝐿𝐴 is your ultimate tool for success. Book your cast with me today. Hello everyone, welcome back to 𝐈𝐂𝐿𝐴. I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui, and I have Hyrum, the directors of partnerships at the UI Charitable Advisors. We got some exciting insights coming up, so stay with us as we dive deeper into the world of finance, technology, innovation, and charitable work. So let's start it. So thank you, Hyrum, for your time today, and I hope you are also enjoying talking to the viewers, and we will have tons of questions asked in social media when we broadcast this. My next question to you, could you share your insight on upcoming industry trends and how you are adapting to remain ahead?
Yeah, we are seeing more and more charitable advisory organizations similar to ours, whether they're donor advice fund providers or foundation management companies, more and more are moving toward being more flexible. We're seeing that more people are wanting to do creative things around the world with their charitable giving, especially high net worth people that are doing a lot of giving are wanting to be more proactive with their giving and get involved internationally, or they are wanting to do something that they'll set up a donor advised fund or another charitable vehicle of some kind, and then realize that they actually want to get a little more creative with the giving that they can do, and that vehicle might not be a good fit. So they're looking for organizations that help them pivot into being able to find the right fit for a vehicle of something that can help them accomplish their giving goals. So as we're seeing different organizations become more flexible, we're staying on the cutting edge of all of that. That was our goal from the beginning, is to offer cutting edge technology that makes it really easy to do all of this and to help people give however and wherever they want to give. So we're staying on top of all of the IRS updates of different ways that these vehicles can be used and how we can help people implement them to their full potential.
Great explanation, Hyrum. Thank you very much for your contribution today. So my next question, can you discuss a measure of struggles you have overcome and lessons you have applied to your professional approach?
Yeah, definitely have had many as we've built this organization. And one of the main ones was that we kind of set out with this mission. We had this light at the end of the tunnel that we were searching for, and we weren't totally sure about how to navigate all of the obstacles on the way to that light at the end of the tunnel. There were a lot of I mentioned several times, kind of the back office administrative side of things is fairly heavy for the type of business that we're running. We're taking on accepting donations of real estate, private businesses, public securities, all kinds of different assets, cryptocurrency, and there's a lot of really intricate and complex administrative burdens that come along with that. And so I would say one of the biggest obstacles we've run into is not knowing how to manage all of that. In some ways, we jumped into the deep end and started trying to accept these types of donations and figure out what the reporting looked like along the way. And you're able to successfully do it. We're very careful and deliberate as we do it, but a lot of it is learning as you go. And so we had this vision, we had this goal, and we've built up to it over time and learned through complications a lot of times and failures. And the number one insight that I've gained throughout all of these we talked about partnerships earlier in the show here. In order to maintain strong partnerships, one of the number one insights I've learned is that the communication is at the key of all of it. It's at the core of any healthy relationship, is being able to bring up mistakes, to bring up uncomfortable things and address them head on right away. And so even though we haven't known all of the obstacles we would face as we've taken on some of the complexities of our business, we have confronted them with boldness and honesty to our partners at all times. So when there's a mishap, when something goes wrong, when there's a mistake, like there is in any business, we take it head on, we confront it, we talk about it, and we're very quick to communicate those. And as a result, we have some of the most loyal partners you'll ever find.
That's a great explanation, Hyrum. Thank you very much. So my next question, how do you measure your success, and both for your businesses and for the client you serve?
Yeah, for us, it's simple. We care about more clients. We care about more charitable dollars coming in the door, but our success is measured off of the charitable dollars we deploy. We set up these donor advised funds. We help set up fiscal sponsorships, all these different charitable vehicles with the singular goal of getting this money to the causes that people care about. And so our success is measured by deploying funds to charitable organizations. That's our primary measure. And we want to become, by 2035, one of the top 5 in the US for total charitable dollars deployed.
That's really a core benefits for the businesses that you work for, isn't it? Because from this conversation, if I backlink your conversation to your answer now, that you deliver core impacts. That is one of your strengths. And you also take all the burdens from your clients to make them successful when they are giving charity. And I have seen less organization in the UK or in the US, they are doing this way. So probably that's why you are the top 5 in the US. Do you work any organization outside of the US, like UK or any other continent?
Absolutely. The charitable giving accounts I mentioned, like donor advised funds, are effective from a tax perspective, of course, for US taxpayers, but we do a lot of giving all over the world. That's one of the flexibilities that we've added to the world of donor advised funds and all of our charitable vehicles, is that we allow for international work. So we're doing impact investing and grant making in in all kinds of different places throughout the world. And we have partners in all of these places that help us find different opportunities so we can be well-versed and experts in what the most pressing problems are in each of these regions.
Thank you. My next question, can you share a story of particularly rewarding projects of your client success that highlights your impact and you feel proud of delivering that?
Yeah, we had a really fun one. So donor advised funds I mentioned are that charitable savings account. One of the restrictions on donor advised funds is that they can't give to individual people. They have to go to organizations, charitable organizations. And we had one of our donors approach us and tell us about this story that she heard. I guess it was, I think they heard it through the news. She's from academia. So she spent many years being a professor at very prestigious universities. And she told us the story of a professor at a very prestigious university in the US that had published a lot of research about integrity in the workplace. How do we have integrity in the workplace, and what are the causes? How does it affect our relationships? All kinds of different studies. And then it came out many years later that a lot of that research that was published was actually fraud, that the results weren't real, and that it was, I don't know that it was fully made up, but just that the results weren't accurate. And this particular donor that came to us was really frustrated, not only about this case, but just about the concept as a whole. There's not enough academic integrity. People aren't, even the irony of this study being about integrity, but having falsified results is pretty funny. But their point was just that in general, in academia, that we don't hold it to a high enough standard, that it's possible to do these studies and then tamper with the results. So her goal was, what happened in this case was that this professor turned around and sued the whistleblower for defamation, saying that they're coming at me trying to defame me and all of my research. And this whistleblower a lot of times is coming from a position of very little power. You have this university professor at a prestigious university turning around and suing somebody. They clearly have all the power here, likely have more money to push these legal bills and to be able to sue this person. And so they're in a really tricky position. So our donor comes to us and says, how do I help fund these whistleblowers' legal expenses? I want this to continue. I want whistleblowers to be bold, and I want them to question academic studies and make sure that we have integrity with the studies we publish. And so we helped them create this, what's called a general field of interest fund. It's called the Academic Integrity Fund, where tax-deductible dollars can go into this fund, give the donor a benefit, and then whistleblowers that are trying to preserve academic integrity can apply for grants from this fund, go through our acceptance process, and receive funding to pay for their legal expenses. And the idea is that it encourages this type of whistleblowing. We want people to help us preserve academic integrity. And so that's the idea of the fund, is to pay for those legal bills and make it so they can deal with the backlash when they do come out and do what's right.
Great example, Hyrum. I'm an academic myself. And everywhere is not black and white, okay?
Yep.
So sometimes if you raise your eyebrow, there is a cost you have to pay, okay? That's why people normally don't raise their eyebrows. Like you say, whistleblower, it could destroy your lives, your academic career and everything. So if you're supporting a good cause, like, okay, I can raise my eyebrows and I can point it down and I'm protected with the funds. That's a great cause. I did not know it previously. So you were doing a great work. So thank you, everyone. We have some few more questions to go through with Hyrum, but I think you are enjoying this episode of ICPcast, and please share this episode with your friends, family, colleagues, whoever you wanted to. I think they will get some good insight from our conversation today. I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui from ICPcast, and I have Hyrum from the UI Charitable Fund. So one thing that I wanted to ask you in relation to this question, what skills and traits do you think have been most important for your success in the industry as an innovator?
Yeah, I would say the number one that sticks out to me most would be authenticity. And I say that both internally and externally. We have a real culture that we've built at UI Charitable is all designed around authentic connections with other people. We believe that you don't have to be best friends with your coworkers. I think we hear that different places, and sometimes you can just have a healthy working relationship, but we believe that that's a deep, important, healthy working relationship too. So we believe in trying to create opportunities for connection and authentic relationships within our organization. And then as a result of that, that's felt on the outside of our organization as well. We're centered around the partnerships, like I mentioned earlier, and we try to teach the manner in which we build these partnerships to be in a very authentic way, where and it's easy to do when we're talking about charitable giving and something that's meaningful and kind of hits home for a lot of people. And so that part of it helps. But just on the surface level of building these partnerships, we believe that it's in an authentic way where it's Same thing with when I mentioned when we make mistakes and confront them quickly. It's bringing up whatever needs to be brought up in a partnership very, very quickly, whether it's a problem, whether it's congratulating someone for good, for better or for worse. It's open communication and authenticity every step of the way.
Thank you very much, Hyrum. My next connecting question to you. Are there any misconceptions within your industry that you wanted to clarify to the viewers today?
Yeah, a couple that come to mind, especially with donor advised funds, are number one, that certain types of assets cannot be donated. That's a more practical misconception, but a lot of people think that you're just going to be giving cash or you're just going to be giving public securities. And really that's with charitable giving in general, but specifically with donor advised funds that are gaining a lot of popularity, it's not just limited to cash and public securities. There are all kinds of different assets that you give. So it's worth looking into regardless of whatever asset you might have. Number two is that giving doesn't have to be limited to your country. If you're in the UK, it doesn't have to just be limited to the UK. If you're in the US, it doesn't have to be limited to the US. There's a world of possibilities. Discover your passion and then figure out how you give to it.
Thank you very much. My last questions before I jump into some personal questions with you. What advice do you give to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to make a mark in your fields?
Yeah, I would say from my experience, this entire journey started from me going to lunch with somebody who I thought was smart, asking them a whole bunch of questions and not understanding most of the answers, and then diving into an experience with them based on, it obviously wasn't that simple. We didn't go in completely blind into this experience, but from a first lunch that I understood very little of, we dove into this incredible experience. And it was all just from a mutual connection. So I think the number one thing is expanding your network. No person is a waste of time. And whether that's just for a personal relationship with them or professionally speaking, it's trying to meet and know as many people as you possibly can, because you never know when that connection might come back to benefit you or to benefit them.
I totally agree with you because, being brought up in Bangladesh, I have different type of obstacles in my lives. Then when I came to the UK, I also had obstacles in relation with culture, in relation with language, in relation with a lot of other things. But I overcome those barriers only to make friends, only to work with, only to asking questions. Yes, I know sometimes some people, they get bothered. Okay, why are you asking too many questions? Who are you? But it doesn't limit my capacity. So that's why I'm here now. I'm a person with huge disabilities. If I don't disclose it, people don't understand it. I had a brain tumor surgery, but still only my willingness to learn more and to work more get to where I am now. So thank you for your authenticity and as well as talking to the viewers today. Now, I will just jump into asking you a few silly questions, okay? If you wanted to answer, you can answer or you can pass, okay? My first questions, do you cook?
I cook in very limited capacity. I would say I grill, and that's about as deep as I go. And I also air fry would be the two words I use.
Okay. Do you have a family that you wanted to share? Who you have?
I don't have a family of my own. I'm currently single, but I have a family that I come from that's fairly large. I have 5 siblings. There are 5 of us.
Okay. Do you have siblings rivalry?
Yeah, I would say I'm the youngest of the 5, and I would say I had a real sibling rivalry with the next oldest. We grew up playing sports together, doing everything together, and we were very frequently throwing balls at each other, screaming at each other. We're both very competitive, and things didn't usually end pretty.
That's great. What's the most critical things you think that you will not do, even that will benefit you lots of money?
Ask that again. I'm not sure I understood.
You will earn lots of money, but that's very critical for you. You wouldn't do it.
Oh, that I would do even if it didn't mean earning lots of money?
Yes.
Well, I'll never stop some more trivial things. I'll never stop playing basketball. I'll never stop playing basketball. I'll never stop playing golf. Golf is probably the big hobby that I'll never make lots of money. In fact, I'll spend lots of money on golf, and I'll never stop playing it. And let's see, on a more meaningful note, I would say that regardless, and I harped on it a little bit earlier, and so to come back to it, it's just that the thing that brings me the most satisfaction and joy in life is meeting new people, building meaningful relationships with those people. And regardless of whether or not someone will benefit me down the road, I just find meaning and fulfillment in connecting with those people. So that's one thing that I'll never stop doing.
That's great. So I will ask you another question. I give you £1 million. How do you want to spend that £1 million?
Oh, that would go to funding this business that I'm passionate about,
Mhm.
and more than anything, funding the cause that I care about most personally, which is addiction recovery and recidivism. So helping people that have been longtime addicts and longtime victims of criminal justice systems, regardless of whatever country it is, learn the actual skills they need and the behaviors they need to implement in their lives to change their lives, rather than continuing in the same cycle over and over again of addiction and spiraling.
Count me in if you wanted to achieve that success. Why I'm telling this to you? You know, I'm a neurodivergent. You probably know about neurodiversity, and you will see majority of the neurodivergent people, they are in prisons. They are either theft, they are either doing something that they shouldn't do. Okay, instead of solving that problems, what we do, we create more problems.
Yep.
So I think the way you describe, people become criminal due to their environments. Okay, people become criminals due to maybe some imbalance. If we can solve that out, people can become from criminal to me, people can become criminals to you. So that's a great explanation. Thank you very much. And we are near end of our talking today. So a great pleasure to talking to you today, Hyrum, and thank you very much for your contribution. At the end, I just wanted to ask you, do you wanted to add some takeaways for the viewers to take away from this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest takeaway from a business perspective for us is that we want to help people find and figure out how they pursue or fund their passion. And so not to shy away from a challenge like that. It feels overwhelming, it feels daunting to take on something that you may be passionate about it and you may feel really strongly, but it's daunting and scary to go for it. You might fail, you might not know where to go, you might not know where to look. We try to help people figure out how they get there. And so after seeing people and helping people on that journey many times, I think that's the number one takeaway is go for it. And if, of course, we can help in any way, that's what we're here for as well.
Thank you very much. So thank you everyone for tuning the Innovator Circle podcast. We hope today's conversation with Hyrum, the Director of Partnerships at the UI Charitable Advisors, has sparked fresh ideas and provided valuable insights to elevate your business strategies, whether it is in sales, marketing, finance, innovation, or charity. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter on icpcast.com. Share this episode with your network. Leave a review. It helps us reach and inspire more leaders like Hyrum. Like our page on LinkedIn and subscribe to our YouTube channels, Sales Funnel Accelerator and Behind the Scenes Success, contact and updates for upcoming episodes. Until next time, stay inspired, stay curious, keep leading the way of innovation. Thank you. Thank you, Hyrum. Thank you, and bye-bye.